Todd came in to shave the gentleman. I saw with my own eyes he slipped the silver candlestick in his pocket. It was not until I went to his shop and reasoned with him did he give it back to me. I laid it exactly where he had taken it from.
Todd stole the candlestick himself?
Why, yes, I told you that. But we must take the good with the bad, you know. He's been a very good friend to us ever since. But I think that's out of fear I tell and get him calm and transported.
Why didn't you tell me this sooner? The agony that could have been spared. I must go at once, Mother, perhaps forever. If I see you not again, farewell.
Toby? Toby? Boy has always been a bit touched in the head, and now I fear it's for the worst. Lord, now who could it be? Mr. Todd, is that you?
I'm looking for your son. Is he here?
Lord, sir, you're through this conjurer, for he just left.
Where has he gone?
I don't know more than the man in the mood, sir. He said something about going to sea, but I thought nothing of it.
To sea? Did he tell you his reason for leaving me?
Indeed, no, sir. He did seem a bit out of his senses tonight.
There you have it, Mrs. Bragg. From the moment that Tobias first came into my service, I knew and felt confident that he was out of his senses. His soon strangeness of behavior convinced me of that fact. I'm only anxious about him now so that some effort may be made to cure him of such a malady, for it is a serious one which, if not taken in time, may yet be the death of Tobias.
Oh, it's too true. It's too true. He did say some extraordinary things tonight, though, Mr. Todd. He said he had something to tell that was too horrid to speak of.
I'm sure his conduct is none that you would ever be guilty of, Mrs. Bragg.
Well, now who could it be?
Stop a moment. What if it be Tobias?
It can't be him, sir. He would have come right in.
No, I slipped the bolt on the door when I entered. I wanted to talk to you without observation. Let me hide somewhere so I can hear what he says and judge how his mind is affected. I'm prepared to do anything for the boy, cost me what it may.
Lord bless you, sir. Hide behind the cupboard right there. He sure will see you. Toby!
Mother, I have taken a new thought and have returned to you.
And it is very good that you have.
Mother, listen. I have thought of fleeing from England and have never setting foot upon its shores again. But I have changed that determination completely. I feel it is my duty to do something else.
To do what, Toby?
To tell all that I know. To make a clean breast, Mother, and let the consequences be what it may.
But what do you know, Tobias?
Something too dreadful for me to utter to you alone. Suffice it to say, Mother, that Sweeney Todd is guilty of many more dreadful things than stealing a mere candlestick. You must go to the temple, Mother, to the gentlemen whose chambers you attend to, and ask them to come to me and listen to what I have to tell. They may hear that which will save their own lives. I know I am half mad, Mother, but I know well what I am saying. Please, for both our sakes, go find someone who will listen to what I have to relate.
Oh, my dear, if it must be, it must be. I will go, but I hope while I am gone, someone will speak to you and convince you you ought to try to quiet yourself.
He's a liar and a murderer, though how he disposes of his victims is a complete mystery. I've never seen him do the deed, yet occasionally when a well-dressed gentleman comes into the shop, he sends me off on some errand at a distant part of town. What a relief it will be when he is hung, as he is tolerably short to lead. It is my duty to stand forward and face the enemy.
As it is mine, Tobias. Now, did you think that Todd was not so easily overcome as you would wish him? Cry like that again, and it will be the last you ever live to utter. Now, this is the way you have dared to disregard my injunctions? No matter. Soon you will have plenty of leisure time to reflect upon what you've done for yourself. So he has fainted, has he? Dull child. No matter, 'tis all the better. Let us begin our journey, child of mine.
Well?
I have a patient for Mrs. Fogg. I wish to see her immediately.
Is he tolerably quiet?
As you can see, he is a mere boy, and he is not violently mad, though decidedly so as to what he says.
Well, that's it, is it? say what he likes here. Makes no difference in the world to us.
So I thought.
Yes, well, wait here. I'll fetch Miss Fogg.
I have you now, Master Tobias. Your troubles will soon be over, for I am very much afraid that you will die suddenly, and then there will be the end of you altogether, which will be a very sad thing. Although I don't think I shall go into mourning, for I have an opinion that that only keeps alive the bitterness of regret, which is a great deal better done without.
Mr. Todd, I believe, unless my memory deceives me.
The same.
Mr. Sweeney Todd, Free Street, London, paid 1 year's keep and burial to Thomas Simpkins, age 13, found dead in his bed after a residence of 14 months and 4 days in the asylum. That, I think, Mr. Todd, was our last little transaction. What can I do for you, sir?
I'm rather unfortunate with my boys. I have another here who has shown such decided symptoms of insanity that it has become absolutely necessary to place him under your care.
Indeed. Does he rave?
Oh, the most absurd nonsense in the world. To hear him, one would think that instead of being one of the most humane of men, I was in point of fact an absolute murderer.
A murderer, Mr. Todd.
Have you heard anything so absurd? I who have the milk of human kindness flowing through every vein, and whose very appearance ought to be enough to convince anyone at once of my kindness of disposition.
For how long do you think this malady will continue?
I will pay you for 12 months, although I don't think the case should last anything like so long. You see, I have not forgotten your excellent rule of being paid in advance. Here's the amount.
Thank you, Mr. Todd. It is a pleasure to conduct such transactions with such a thorough businessman as yourself. But, see, opens his eyes.
Where am I? Ah! He's a murderer!
You hear? You hear?
Mad indeed.
Save me from him! It is my life he seeks because I know his secrets.
Have you heard anything so mad?
Desperately mad. Come, young fellow, or we shall be under the necessity of putting on a straight waistcoat to go on this way.
Please, sir, I do not know who you are or where I am, but please let me beg of you to go to the house of Sweeney Todd. There you will find that he is a murderer.
How uncommonly mad.
Please, search his house. There must be at least hundreds of walking sticks, hats, watches, and rings, all belonging to unfortunate persons who have met their death at his hands. If these things be not there, then say I am mad. There is a great mystery to me yet, but that he does kill them, I have no doubt.
Watson,
Yes, miss?
you'll take this young lad, as he seems extremely feverish and unsettled. Put a straight waistcoat upon him and let him be put in one of the dark, damp cells. Too much light encourages delirium and fever.
Yes, miss. Be this a madhouse, then? What have I done to deserve such cruel treatment?
Give him nothing but bread and water. The first symptoms of recovery, which produce better treatment, will be the exoneration of his poor master.
If it is madness to know that Sweeney Todd is a murderer, then mad I am, for I do know it.
Take him away, Watson. I began to find this boy a very dangerous character and became more viciously mad than any baby we've had here for a considerable time.
No, he is a murderer. Please have mercy upon me. I am not mad.
Is such a fuss common among new admissions?
Oh, I assure you it's nothing, Mr. Todd. If you'd resided here as long as I have, you'd get accustomed to hearing slight noises now and then. The worst of it is when half a dozen of the mad fellows get shrieking up against each other in the night. That, I grant, is a little annoying.
What do you do with them?
We send in a keeper with a lash and soon put a stop to that. You're forced to keep the upper hand or we should have no rest.
You are quite correct and considerate. It delights me to hear you talk in so elevated a strain.
Yes, like the rest of the community, we make ourselves useful. We cannot expect people to bring their mad friends and relatives here unless we took good care that their ends and views were answered by doing so. We make no remarks, we ask no questions. Those are the principles upon which we have conducted business so successfully and for so long. Those are the principles upon which we will continue to conduct it and to merit, we hope, the patronage of the British public.
Unquestionably. Now, it is very good that I have paid you the correct amount, for I think that he is more mad than we could ever realize.
Good day.
Good day, Miss Fogg. Thus was I able to rid myself of Tobias Ragg. He had become of late the most serious enemy I had ever had. Pity. I would love to have shut my shop once and forever. However, I knew that when the string of pearls was not played, Mr. Mundell would soon sell them. Much attention would ensue, and someone might come forward who knew something of their history. I would keep quiet. I would remain in obscurity. For 3 months longer, and only 3, I would carry on the task so that any sudden alterations in my fortunes would not give rise to suspicion. Mrs. Lovett, for her part, went about her business and mine, but the trade had fallen a bit due to a curious odor that had begun to emanate from the vaults of St. Dunstan's Church. The bishop was due to arrive in a matter of weeks for the annual confirmation, resulting in a concerted effort to rid the church of its malodorousness. Her newly hired cook, one Jarvis Williams, soon had his fill of the pies and began giving thought to his increasingly tedious situation. It was not long before he discovered, to his great dismay, that he was nothing more than a prisoner. Not unlike poor Tobias, whose own screams, as Mrs. Fogg had correctly prophesied, had soon to be stifled. But dead men tell no tales, nor women, nor children, and they should all die, after which there should be a serious fire on Fleet Street. But as for me, I hastened home at once from Newgate. I needed to hire a replacement, of course, to assist me in my enterprise for the following 3 months. As I rounded the corner onto Fleet Street, I saw that fortune had smiled upon me once again. There, standing right outside the shop, as if deliberating on whether or not to enter, stood a curious young boy intently studying the placard I had just posted there. But that can wait. Forgive me, Your Honor, I grow a bit weary and find myself in need of a bit of nourishment. Say, a cold mug of ale and a nice meat pie.
We're going to take a 20-minute break for an intermission. We will be having refreshments such as chips, we have water, we have baked goods, and please remember that all proceeds from our intermission will come back to the club so we can fund awesome plays like this one, and we'll see you in 20 minutes.